Hello everyone, my name is Cynthia Henry and I'm the librarian for the College of Human Sciences and Women's Studies. Today we're going to look at how to do some researching for the master's level new degree in nutrition and dietetics. This is the main library website. You can see that to navigate to this website, it's library.ttu.edu. And this is just a basic overview of this screen. You can do some searching here. If you were looking for a book in the library, you could do that here. We also have quite a few ebooks that are located there. And then you can find some other information over here on the right side, some information about your account and document delivery and off-campus login. We'll talk about that more in just a minute. But I'm going to focus the rest of the tutorial here on the personal librarians. If you'll click here and then scoot down to the College of Human Sciences, and then we're going to get inside nutrition. Now this is some good information. It's just a basic launch screen for nutrition, but we do have a tab for your degree here. You can see all my contact information is over here on the right. Again, my name is Cynthia Henry. You can email me here. You can call. I use Skype quite often, and it's the Skype for Business that you can download from TTU software. And I think it's inside the whole package of the Windows Office now. If you see that I'm green on there, you can always, I'm happy to be available at any point that I'm green. Here's the databases in the center. We'll talk about some of those in just a second. And then you're going to find some more information in the boxes surrounding this kind of top two center boxes. So as we start to do some research, we're going to know how to look for full text articles. And if we don't have the full text, this lets you know that you need to be looking for the Find It button. Journals, we'll talk about that in just a second as well. And then document delivery, I'll reference this, and this is where you're going to set up your account. And then we'll also talk about EndNote just for a second. It is a good citation management tool. You don't have to use EndNote. You may be more comfortable in Mendeley or any of the other tools. I think there's one out now called CalWorks. So anything that you find, or Zotero. If you need help with any of those, I'll be happy to assist as best as I can. I do happen to know EndNote the best, but I'm getting more comfortable in Mendeley and Zotero every day. So just let me know. And at this level, you should really probably be collecting all your citations in one spot just so that you have them, and then you don't have to constantly be looking for them. That would be my advice, at least. Okay, let's just get into Medline. It is a great database for your area, as well as PubMed. Now, let me just kind of talk about these two for a second. As we know, it has been mandated that any research that is federally funded has to be published in a database that is open to the public, and that is PubMed. But this PubMed inside a library is different than the PubMed that you could just Google and locate. The one you can Google and locate will not know that you're a TTU student, so it's going to ask you to pay for every article, like $35.99. You've already paid your library fees. Please don't ever pay for our article. Let us do that if we have to get to that point. But most of the time we can find it for free, so we don't need to do that. And so PubMed is that location, and using this link will get you more access to all the articles than using the one if you just Google it. The other thing is PubMed and Medline are very much linked. Things are posted in PubMed first, but then are indexed into Medline. And I kind of like using Medline as a research tool, and I'll show you what we're talking about when I get in there. It just has some features that I think make it a little bit easier to use. However, the information is the same, so if you're more comfortable in PubMed, feel free to do that. And then Agricola is really on agricultural, but it has a lot to do with food. And then Science Direct, Scopus, Web of Science, all hard science databases feel free to look at any of those. And then Senol is really related more to nursing and allied health, where nutritionalists are really starting to be part of a team to help a patient in the whole comprehensive way to help patients do better. And then this is a full list of nutrition databases. You can click on that and see every database that I think would even apply to nutrition. And then the Foundation Center Online, if you're writing a grant, that might be helpful. And if you need help with that, feel free to contact me. So I'm going to get into Medline, and I'm going to click on that, and that will put me into the Medline screen. Now, this screen, I try to point this out. A lot of people say that this is an EBSCO, and EBSCO is the vendor, not the database name. The database name is Medline Complete, and it's good for you to know the difference, that the name is Medline, not the vendor name, because I have quite a few students sometimes will email me and say, oh, I thought I found the best article, and I thought I printed that or emailed that to myself, and I can't locate it again. Can you help me find that article? And if you can tell me that you were in Medline, I guarantee you between the two of us we can find that. If you can only tell me you were in EBSCO, our library only, there's lots of other vendors, but our library specifically has, I think, probably about 250 to 275 databases from EBSCO. So that's a lot of hunting and digging and pecking that I don't know if we would actually end up being able to find it. Now, I typically like to use the advanced search screen. That just gives me 3 spots there that allow me to do some searching. And normally I encourage people at this level to look for the checkbox to narrow by peer review. But everything in Medline is peer reviewed, so you don't even have to worry about that in this database, so that is nice. So now I'm going to look for nutrition and maybe counseling. And let's run that search. So we're still at 3,000, over 3,000. So I think I'm going to look at nutrition therapy, really, and counseling. And click search now. And now we're down to 205. That's a much better set. We're not too wide where we're picking up anything, but we're not too narrow where we've eliminated something that might be useful as well. And so I really try to get my search results to about 100, 150. 205 is not bad. But if I get down to something that is so tiny, like 20, 25, I might have missed a term that I really need to know in my research. Just by using a different term, synonym, then you could really find that useful information. And if you're having a hard time with those keywords, let me know. That's a good time to contact me. I'm happy to explore what you need. A lot of times just having you talk about what you're researching, we usually find 1 or 2 other words that you hadn't even thought to use. So let's just look at this first one. It looks interesting. Nutritional approaches in cancer. So let's talk about this screen. I'm just going to scroll down so we can see more of it. This is the title of the article, and this is the author, and this is where it's located. It's in the source Nutrition, and that is from 2015, April, volume 31, issue number 4, page range 603 to 604, and that is all information you want to include in your citation. Now I'm going to click on this little cite option over here on the side. All of the EBSCO databases have it, and it's just a nice tool that they've built into their platform. So if you click on that, it'll allow you to find the citation. Now I do strongly encourage you to just double check that all the numbers in here are correct, accurate, and then you can just copy and paste this right into either a Word or email if that's what you want. Or I'll also show you how to get that into a citation manager, as we were talking about at the top of the video, or like EndNote or Mendeley or Zotero. So I'm going to close that. And then let's just continue on down. I'm going to look at these mesh terms. Now, a lot of times databases will call these subject terms or descriptors. This one happens to stand for medical subject headings because it's in Medline. And these are really good terms that you need to kind of be aware of. If I was looking at this and I thought this article was spot on for my research, I would want to look at these terms and see if there's anything I want to use that I hadn't thought of yet, and I could put that back up into my search term. So that's a good way to find some other articles that are on target if you see things that are really your subject heading terms are using in a lot of the articles that you're thinking, oh, these are really what I want to be researching. So, okay, so then next we have the abstract, which of course is just the summary of the article itself, and EBSCO is really good at highlighting the terms that you put up in your search in bold, so you can quickly scan that if you want to. So let's say we really thought this was the best thing ever. We need this for our research. How do we go about seeing the article? You just click over here in the PDF. And if there's no PDF, then there will be an option to find it with our Find It button that we looked at on the front page. So I'm just going to click on the PDF. It's going to load it up right here on the screen for me. And here's the article itself. I can scroll through here. The PDF is really nice. It's going to have charts, graphs, pictures, tables, all of that data. That if you sometimes will get an option to use a HTML full text, I always encourage you to use the PDF if you have that option. Because not only that, if you forget to write down your citation information and you're not using a citation manager like EndNote, then from the PDF you usually can build it. Here's the author again and the journal, volume information, page ranges here. Anything else that we need up here is located here. And so then you can usually build, there's the DOI. So I think you can find quite a few here. A lot of the information that you need. If you want to print this at your location, remember you'll want to use this bar, either print here or you can download it and save it to your computer. You want to use these tools, not these outside tools. This will only get you this frame that is sitting in EBSCO. So if I pushed print here, I would print the frame, not the article. So just make sure that you are aware of that. Sometimes the Adobe comes up from the top. Sometimes it has a little bar down here that it rises. And so if you just hover in those two locations, you'll be able to see how to print your article. Okay, I'm just going to click back. And I'm actually going to use my back button in my browser and not the results list at this moment, so I can see the article one more time. So here we are in the record, and now I'll use my results list so we can get back onto the main screen of our results. And then I'm just going to scroll down and look at some other things here. You can see the PDF from here if you want to do that. If you want to look at the abstract, you can hover over this little looking glass icon and it'll pull it up. And sometimes it's really quick, and then you can scroll down and see the rest of the abstract. If the abstract's too long, it won't hold it all here. And again, you can see all the items there. And then if there's any images, you can click on those and they'll pop up as well. And I'm just going to look and see if I can find one that does not have a full text. We have lots of good full text here. Oh, here's one. And again, inside the record, you will find this Find It button over here, but I'm just going to use it from that main front screen. And let's click on that. I'm just going to use number 8. And so if you've been with our institution at all, you'll notice that this is a new screen that's just started this semester, and so they're always going to look a little bit more gray now, and you'll still find the View It right here in the center. So this one, remember we knew that this was from 2015, and it tells you in Medline Complete that it's available from 2012 to 2015. Well, we were just in Medline and we knew that it's not there, and that's because it says until 2015. So this is available, this one is available in another collection just below it, in the Elsevier Freedom Collection, and it's available from 1998. So clearly 2015 will be embedded in here. So I can just click on this, and it will bring me to a website where I have to kind of look around and see where the PDF is. If you've noticed yet, it's up here at the top instead of over on the left as it is in Medline. And when you land on these websites, you just have to look around a bit. Sometimes they're way up here at the top. Sometimes they have the Adobe icon. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just say free full text. Sometimes they're over here on the right-hand side. Sometimes they're highlighted in yellow with no Adobe icon. One vendor, for whatever reason, makes you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and then you can find it. So if you get to the screen and you're having a hard time locating it, feel free to email me, and I'll actually show you. I'm just going to clean up some of my windows real quick here. If you get to a point where you can't find it, if you will send me this link, I have to have that information. If you want to send the title and the author, that's fine, but I don't need it as much as I need this line. So if you ever get stuck and you can't figure out what your next step is, feel free to send that to me. I will either send you back the PDF myself, or I will tell you that you'll have to interlibrary loan this through document delivery, and we'll talk about that in just a second, as I said a minute ago. Okay, so I'm going to close up this window, and I'm going to, we're back on our article. I'm going to click the results list. So that one showed us 2 sets that it was in. This one, let's look and see what it does. And it's thinking about it. Oh, this Miss one only have one option available, so it automatically takes us on through, so we don't even have to look around to kind of narrow down from the multiple options. So then again, here it is, and this is one, a slightly different article. I'm just going to close this one, and we'll be back on our database again. And then I was going to see one more, if we could find one that had no full text, so you could see what that looks like using document delivery and the process you have to do it. So let's see if this one works that way. Oh, we're getting lots of full text out of Science Direct. That's a good one. I'm going to try one more before I give up, and then just kind of pretend that it's not working. Well, okay, I may not be able to find one today. I'm going to quickly get us back on the first screen. So back on page 1 of our results, we know that the number 8 had a couple options, so that'll at least let us look at the same kind of screen. So if there's no full text available, none of these will be sitting here, and you'll just see this additional services requested, and then that's when you will click on that to see it. So it'll say nothing except for additional services to get it or view it, and we'll click it, and this will automatically ask me to sign in with my e-reader, which it has. And I will be signing into my document delivery account. It's called the Iliad account. And since mine is already set up, you will not see a screen intervening. But the first time you sign into it, and I'll show you how and where to do that, this screen will be a screen where you fill in information about yourself. It will ask you for your name and all of that. And remember, if you're a distant student, make sure you say that you're a distant student. You have slightly different privileges at that point. So it has pulled in the information here. If I needed this article, all I needed to do is hit Submit Request. And then on the main menu, it would have a pending request down here. And then our interlibrary loan department tries very hard to get all of that to you as fast as they can. If they can find it electronically at another library and we can send it to you that way, it is usually there 24 to 48 hours during the business week. So if you put in things on Monday morning, you would definitely have that by Wednesday. But if you put in things Friday afternoon, you would not see that over the weekend, as that department is not staffed over the weekend. Then they will email you and say your item is ready. If it's a PDF, that you'll come into electronically received, and then you could view the PDF. If it is something that is physical, especially if you're a distance student, it will be mailed to you, and then when you're done with it, you just ask for a label and you can ship it right back. And we incur all that cost, so don't worry about using that service. So I'm going to close out of my account here and close this window and close this window. We're back into the Find It screen, and I'm going to close that. Now we're back into our database, so you know where we're all have been. Okay, so that is a bit how to search in Medline. Well, I think I would just quickly open our personal librarian screen again so that you can see from nutrition and the tab of the master's level Nutrition and Dietetics screen. We have this Ask a Librarian. You can just kind of close it if you don't need help. But that's a good place to ask for help if you need it. This is where the document delivery is. So you could click right here and set that account up, and then it will work in the database for you, just as my interlibrary loan document delivery account worked in the database that we just saw, that example through Medline. Now let's talk about if we're going to move a few things into a citation management tool. I'm just going to grab a few. I'm going to click on this blue folder icon. It's going to turn yellow, and it's created a folder over here. This folder view and this folder is the same folder, so sometimes you see this on, depending on what screen you are, and sometimes you don't. So if you just need to get to the folder from wherever you're located in the database, you could do that quickly here. I'm going to put a few in there and click on the folder view, and then I'm going to identify what I really want to take. So a lot of times if I do research, I'll be digging through the results list here, thinking, oh, this might be good. Oh, wait, this one is really good. Okay, I'm really finding some better ones now. So I just put everything over there. And then when I get to this point, I may pick and choose again. So I may just highlight one or two. Or if I know I really want everything here, I just need to select all of these. And then if I was going to put these into a citation management software, I'm going to click Export. And then it gives me lots of options here. You can put in these citations into EndNote, Zotero. If you're using Mendeley, you just have to download the PDF and drag the PDF in there. So just be aware of that. This EndNote Web, I don't think is working, this option anymore, so don't worry about that. Just go ahead and use EndNote. And EndNote Web is the online version to the software that you can also download, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. And so then I would just go ahead and click Save, and that will interact with my EndNote software, or I could drop it back into EndNote Web if that's what I chose. But that's a little bit more complicated than I thought we might go into right now. And so if you want to IM me or send an email, we can definitely talk about that and help you get that set up. So again, over here on our personal librarian page, we have some information here about EndNote. And specifically, I talk about EndNote a little bit because the library offers that software for free from the main page. Again, if you're here, here's the EndNote, and I think I may have pointed that out at the beginning, but I may not have. You can download that software, and then this EndNote Online is one that you can set up and that way you can have access to your research anywhere. And I strongly encourage you to marry those two. And then EndNote 8 is the version that we're on now, that when you download, when you download, you have to put in your e-rater and all of that information, so that it knows that you're a student, because we are only providing that for clearly people related to Texas Tech, not just anybody. And so this also gives you some more step-by-step PDFs if you're having a hard time operating that software after you've downloaded it. So you can see that here. So if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to walk you through that. Let me talk a little bit about this off-campus login. So as we were moving through this process, I was clicking on databases. When I click on this database, if I'm off campus, it should trigger an off-campus sign-in with your e-rater. If it does not, it will not let you see anything. So then you may need to come in and force it to do it. Most of them are doing pretty well, but occasionally you'll hit a spot where it doesn't work. Like maybe you've actually been on the computer and you signed into e-rater, then you signed out of that because you don't need to do that anymore. Then it kind of confuses the system, so you need to force it to sign in. So this allows me to sign in. Of course, it doesn't really matter here because I'm on campus at the moment, so it automatically works, so I don't have to sign in at this moment. But if you need to, that's what that is for. And then the other thing is you may want to look at this journals options as well. So this journals A to Z link allows you to search for a journal. So if you are needing to find something that maybe a professor recommended, this is the easy way to see if we have it electronically. You just find the journal title, not looking for a database or the article title here, but the journal title here. So let's see if we can find, I noticed we were finding a lot out of nutrition in our search just now, so I'll just look up that journal. And so this is one that we were using a lot, but if you needed to find something else, you could look down and see it. Now, since this is the one I want to click on this link here, not click view. I mean, you can, but it just takes you into this little convoluted thing, whereas if you click here, it just takes you straight into that screen. I like it better. So we were just in Medline, but we could find anything out of the Freedom Collection, so I'll just open the Freedom Collection one more time, and then we could look for anything we needed to. So if I knew the volume and issue of whatever I was looking up, I could just go ahead and find that. So I knew it was in the Journal of Nutrition, and I was looking maybe for volume 30. I'll just scroll down to that. So it'd be here. And then I'd have to know what issue I needed. And I'll just take issue 4. And then it will allow me to see the PDFs, so I could pull out whatever I needed to do there. So that's a quick and easy way. If you know the citation of something, you just want to find that really easily. Okay, I think that's mostly what I was going to there's some additional resources here. Of course, you can look at anything here, some information here, but quite a bit of this is related. Oh, this is a good point. Let's talk about Google Scholar for just a second. I think that's the last thing that we really need to cover this morning. So if you don't know, you can set up the Google Scholar to work with our library. So I'm just going to clean up some of my tabs here real quick. Sorry about that, guys. And open a new one. I have Google Scholar bookmarked, but you can easily quickly type in Google Scholar and land there. And you want to make sure that it is here on Google Scholar, not just on the plain Google. Then you're going to click on Settings. Then you're going to click on Library Links. Then you're going to make sure that it says Texas Tech and nothing else. Don't write in the full university because it's not identified that way. you're going to click search, and then it will pull up everything here. I typically leave the Open World Cat available. That's just a large catalog, online catalog, that most of the English-speaking countries have put information, records into their into that database. So if you want to use that, you can. We use it here at Tech. And then, of course, the rest of the U.S., Canada, Britain, most of Europe. So that you really want to make sure this one is checkmarked, because this will give you full text at T2Lib. And then I'm going to save it so that it saves it to my browser. And then I'm going to do some searching. Looks like I was helping somebody with a divorce for a second there. But let's go ahead and do some nutrition. Let's try nutritional needs. See what we get. Okay, so this is now triggered this to be available. If you have not set it up through Google Scholar, you would not see this. So those steps that we just took of the library links and everything, this would not be available. So I'm going to click on that real quick. And guess what? It's the screen that we've been looking at most of the morning here. And then now this one has lots of options. Or if there was no full text available, you could just use your request this. So we could just grab into something here and find it. I'm just going to click on Academic Search Complete. It's going to look very much like Medline, but then I would be able to read that. Click on it. I'm going to go ahead and get back here. I'm going to have to click on the back button in my browser, because Google Scholar doesn't throw it to a new window like the databases do. So be aware of that. And then let's just try one more and see if we can see what happens there. Oh, this is a great example. This is what I was kind of looking at in one of our databases, is that now we do not see the view it option. So we just have to use the request it. And again, that will send me right to my document delivery to request that item, even straight from Google Scholar. I'll go ahead and open that so you can see that one more time. So I strongly encourage you to set up your Google Scholar. Oh, look, it didn't bring everything over. It's supposed to, but I could put all this information in really quickly and be able to get that information. In fact, the citation is right here. So I may just grab this and then get back over here, put this down here so I can find it. It looks like we could just drop this over there. I think I'm just going to look quickly back at that. I thought this was a journal. Yes, see, it is a journal, so we didn't get quite all of the information there. But a lot of times you can use this site in the same way that I was trying to use the other. Yeah. I'm just going to grab, I'm actually more comfortable with APA, so I'm going to grab this copy and get back over here. Now, I know that it's not really a book, it's a journal, so I'm going to do a journal article request. Drop this in here as in Google. This is the title to the article. This is the title to the journal. Volume and issue is 85, 2, and then this is the page range, and that S means it's in the supplemental range issue. Now I'm going to go ahead and clear up all this. I do need to put the year as 2007, and then this is the author information. So that is all information, and I clean that up and submit it, and then I would be able to get that. Let's go ahead and try and request this so you can see that happen on the main screen here in the account. So I'll just hit submit request, and then you can see it's pending here. So it'll look like this quite often, and you'll have the pending, and I'll be awaiting request processing, and so then it takes just a minute for that to happen. Okay, again, I'm going to get back on my screen. Here's my contact information. If you need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for watching.